From a little bit higher up, we see better, but we're in the shade. You can see the pool at the bottom with the island in the middle of the pool. The columns all around them, the structures that were nearby that now are very destroyed. From the corner of the pool that's closest to us, a little bit towards us, you can see ruins there. These are ruins of a small village that was here mainly in the Byzantine period as part of the monks that settled here, but also there's a town there from before, which is the town of the workers, the maintenance crew, the labor workers that live here and actually maintain this palace. Why? In a moment we'll find out, but for that we need to quickly move into the end of the Hasmonean period, when two brothers fight each other who will be the new king. Hyrcanus and Aristobulus, both of them the second, the sons of Jonathan the king and his wife Salome Shlomtzion the queen. Eventually they fight each other, and during their fighting the Romans come and conquer this land, and Hyrcanus becomes the king. I'm skipping 20 years ahead. The son of Aristobulus, the son that was not chosen to be king, he was the more powerful of the two, starts a revolt against the Romans and his uncle, Hyrcanus the king, and that's when the Idumean family actually controls this land under the king. Who are the Idumeans? Antipater, that died meanwhile, his two sons, Phasael, the governor of Jerusalem and Judah, and Herod, the governor of the Galilee. I'm in Jewish Wars, book 1, and we are told of Herod running away. Oops, I'm in the wrong bookmark. Herod running away from this revolt. He hears that his brother Phasael was murdered and he runs away. Where does he run to? Southeast of Jerusalem. Why? Towards the desert. Towards where? Towards Masada, where he knows he'll find refuge at least for a while. And then on the way, he's being chased and his chariot or his wagon flips over. He's sure his mother died. By the way, one of his wives to be, they were not married yet, was also on the wagon, and he's sure everything is done, everything is dead, but he's stopped, and he was convinced that everything is okay. And in his flight he had less trouble with the par than with the Jews who harried with him, and they carried away, and in that spot he decides he will go back to one day. And now I skip to this big bar.
Where exactly was that in the book? Jewish Wars,
book 1, paragraph 261. Or somewhere there. 260 something. I don't have the exact number.
That's fine.
Later on, what does Herod do? He builds a site named after Cyprus, which is his mother. He builds a site named after his brother, Phasael. And having immortalized his family and friends, he did not neglect to make his own memory secure. He built a fortress in the hills facing Arabia and called it Herodioun after himself. It's the only site that Herod names after himself. Out of his 11 palaces all over the country and outside the country, there's one outside the country. He built only one site named after himself. Where are we? Look in that direction. What you see in front of you, the urban area in front of us, not the few houses scattered on the hills, where it's dense, that's Bethlehem. Further up and to the right, you can suddenly see many tall buildings. That's central Jerusalem today. Continue to the right, you can see two towers, one next to each other, really in the haze. And then on the top of the hill, 3 towers, 3 small spires. That's the Mount of Olives.
Whoa.
Okay? We're very close.
Whoa.
We're very, very close. Just a few miles away from Jerusalem. That's the site where the wagon overturned, where all this happens, and where he remembers to also immortalize his own memory, and not only that of his family and friends in other locations. We already heard about the tower named after Phasael, the tower named after Miriam, and Miriam his wife, and so on. So this is the only site named after himself.
In this country, the other towers?
The towers are near Jaffa Gate today, in the area of the entrance to Jerusalem. We'll be there as well again later in the course. The last thing we need to do right here is ask, where does that pool get water from?
Aqueduct.
So, if you remember the aqueducts from the Second Temple period, so in the valley, just where the urban area of Bethlehem ends, the valley right over there that we can see, it looks like a V shape. One side is full of houses, the other is empty. So in that valley, there are a series of springs. The upper ones are captured by Solomon's pools and taken in the aqueducts of Jerusalem. The lowermost one was channeled in an aqueduct to this pool. And then, now please imagine paddling little boats through that, and an island with a roof where you could sit and drink your wine and enjoy the nice spot right here down below.